Welcome. My name is May.
And my name's Colleen, and today we're going to learn how to sew a button on your knitting project. Here's the baby sweater that I want to put buttons on. I've decided on this button, which kind of matches that lovely magenta, so that's what I'm going to do. Now, what you have to do when you're sorting things out is you've got to make sure that the needle you pick fits through. In a perfect world, the eye of that needle would be bigger, and it's not. So I have to get the thread through the needle, and let's talk about what I'm going to use. So this is the yarn that I used to knit this. If the hole in the button was bigger, then I would be using all of this, but it isn't, and so what I need to do is get some plies. I'm going to try and get 2 plies. There's lots of plies in here. So I'm just going to try and take half of the plies. So I'm just going to pull and get myself enough. So I'm basically just dividing the yarn in half. It takes a little bit so it doesn't get too, so I'm just going to divide it in half, which is going to give me enough strength to hold the button on. So it's just that it twists as you go. So I'm just working my way through, and I'm just going to get enough of this yarn there. That will work. So that should be lots enough. And now here we go. So take that away. There is now what I've got. So I'm just going to get my yarn through the hole. I'll just show that one more time. So if you take the yarn over the needle and pinch it with your fingernail and then slide it off the tip, it gives you this lovely fold that will push through. Now I know there are needle threaders, but that worked very well, so I'm okay with that. So if you find that that's too hard for you, you can get a needle threader. Okay, so now I've got a nice strong piece. So that's what I'm going to sew. Now this is cotton and bamboo, and so it's lovely and strong. If you can use the yarn that you've knit your item or crocheted your item in, that's good. If you split it in half and then it's not strong enough, then you're going to have to go and do something different. You might have to find some kind of polyester thread to put the button on. I've been in classes where they say don't use the yarn that you knit with, and I've been in classes where they say to match it up nicely, use the color that you've knit with. So I will leave that up to you. Just see how strong what you've got is. So this little button only has 2 holes, and so I'm going to decide that I want the button to sit like that. So I'm going to decide where my placement of my buttonhole is, and I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to come in, and this is where life gets interesting. So I just want to go in. I'm going to double check one more time. That's where that meets. That's where the button needs to be. So I haven't tied a knot on the end of my yarn. There we go. So I'm going to bring that up, and I want you to see that I'm leaving this tail. Okay, so I need that to tie things back in. I'm going to double check that I'm happy with that placement. Yes, I'm very happy. And then I'm just going to go to the other side and then go back in. And then I'm going to give it a nice tug. Make sure my button is the way that I wanted it. Yep, I wanted it straight up and down. So now all I'm going to do is go up and over, up and over. I'm going to stop talking so I can focus on what I'm doing. I'm going to do that as many times as I can. I might only get one more time. I'm not 100% sure. We'll see how it goes, and then we'll see how we finish it off. I think I can get one more time up. and over. There, so we're just going to double check before I tie everything off. So there's my button. There's the buttonhole. Let's just make sure it's going to look nice. Yep, it's sitting in a nice spot. My collar's matching up nicely. It looks good. So I'm going to undo it. Now, once again, we're going to flip this over because now I have to tie this off. Now, there's a couple of ways that you can do this. I'm going to tie a double knot. So let me take off the needle. Now I'm actually going to do a surgeon's twist, so twist it twice because that's going to give me a nice tight pull. And then I'm going to come back the other way because we want it to be nice and tight. And then I'm going to do one more time. Now at this point in time I have two choices. I can either weave these in or I can cut them off. And because it's cotton and weaving in's a little tricky and I'm at the edge, I think I'm going to leave this a nice tight knot. And then I'm just going to snip this close to where I was. And there we are. So the button's on. I now have two more buttons to do, but let's just double check and see if we like how it looks. There's my buttonhole. There's the button. We'll pull it down. I'm quite happy with that. I think it goes very nicely on this cute wee sweater.